Jarret LeMaster here of the Babylon Bee,
Yes.
also of this new movie Homestead that just
Homestead.
came out from Angel Studios. It kind of goes through, a nuclear bomb in Los Angeles and the chaos that ensues out of that. Can you just talk to a little bit about being a part of the movie and the movie itself, the reception it's receiving?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really great film. First of all, I'm like super excited to be part of it because it may be the coolest movie I've ever been able to be a part of. And I get to work with this incredible cast. It's awesome. Neil McDonough, Bailey Chase, Don Olivieri is incredible. There's just amazing actors in the movie. So yeah, and I work in comedy most of the time. And so getting to come over and do something really serious, this drama, it's like, it's a whole new world for me, and it's a lot of fun.
Was that a difficult transition for you, or was it kind of natural because you're a performer, you know?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, like, they say this, like, about acting, that comedy is actually more difficult than drama.
Right.
And so, because in comedy, you usually have to, like, memorize every single line. It's every word, every line. And then it always builds up to a punchline or a joke. And so, and it's all about timing, and you have to get the timing right. With drama, you can be a little more free form. You can get those motives. You can, so I don't know. I found it to be, it wasn't that hard for me to get into character because I have 4 kids. My character is scrambling. He doesn't have a plan. Most of the people in the movie have a plan. And so my character did not have a plan. And so he's the guy that represents the majority of Americans who are like probably not really well prepared for if that kind of scenario, like,
Right, for an imminent disaster.
Yeah, like an EMP or something that knocks out the power grid, and then the supply chain goes down, nobody can get food or water, and it's just, that's it, that's all she wrote,
Right.
It turns into The Walking Dead, it turns into Mad Max in about a year. So, that's what they've run these scenarios, it's insane from the government, like 99% of the people die. It's something like that where you didn't have energy, didn't have access. Crazy.
So, there's future plans for Homestead as well, too.
Yeah.
I hear there's a television show maybe in the works.
Yeah, so
can you
there
talk to
is.
us about that? Or?
Yeah, so this will be a television series. We have, it's hard to, I can't really say much about it, but we have actors that have joined us that are amazing, like Joe Wagner and Chip Eston. I don't know if you know who he is. He was in Nashville. He was in Outer Banks is a good example of what he's done. And very exciting. They're really like top tier guys, top tier people. And it's going to be cool. We're going to follow this post-apocalypse into, like, there's just tons of stories you can tell with it. It's like The Walking Dead. It's a great framework for telling stories. The best television is always like just, okay, what's the scenario? What's the world we build? And then what kind of stories can we tell?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and so that's what's up. Like, it's a great framework. It's a great launch pad for awesome stories, good characters, and villains and heroes and all kinds of stuff. So I'm really excited about it.
And it's a little fortuitous, with Homestead coming out right now, as we have, seems to be a certain national security threat in the Mid-Atlantic right now with drones. We can't quite seem to get an answer on. Just do you see, what are your thoughts just of the release in conjunction with that? And
you know what? God is in control of all this stuff. I think it's a great time to release a movie about the end of the world because it's on everybody's mind. Like, I mean, nobody's had to worry about drones before like this. It's a weird thing. Right. The UFO thing, it's a weird thing. Like, it's weird. And so everybody's thinking, what is this? Is this like going to be Independence Day? Like, are the aliens coming? Like, what's happening? Is the government going to poison us? Are they looking for nuclear material? Like, that's like, and I guess that's the rumor on the internet right now is that they're looking for like nuclear waste or something. I don't know. So all that to say, like, yeah, it's a great time for this because it's right on people's hearts and minds. And this is it's a good map about, and the philosophical question, what I really like about this show, in the apocalypse, how can we continue to live with our values, like our values? How can we be Christians? How can we serve people that don't have what we have, in the apocalypse? Do our values hold up? I don't know. We got to find out. So, or has it become a dog-eat-dog, like survival of the fittest situation, Darwinian materialism? Like, does it all go out the window?
Absolutely. It's a very interesting study to go through it through in the show.
It's great.
And, you know, something else I want to ask too, you know, Angel Studios, you know, we've seen them come out with Sound of Freedom, and they're kind of, you know, how important is it to circumvent, you know, the traditional Hollywood landscape and be able to build up an infrastructure like Angel Studios?
Yeah, I like that you said that. I think it's an interesting idea because it is sort of an alternative Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's a whole system that's different. They finance differently. They think differently. They're telling stories that probably would have been told more like in the 80s, you know, like before people were trying to insert their philosophies into these movies. And I think that it was necessary because Hollywood had capitulated to the culture so much that they were inserting all of their philosophies and ideologies into these movies and ruining IPs that we love, like, you know, like Star Wars, and nobody saw The Acolyte. Like there's so many problems because people are so tired of being preached at. And, you know, like, honestly, the Christians were doing that in their media forever. Like, so I come from a Christian background, and we were terrible at this. Like, we would put the message before the quality of the film almost every time up until, you know, a bunch of stuff came out maybe like 5 years ago. I think Mel Gibson started changing that landscape a little bit, and then it started to trickle down, you know, with The Passion and then beyond. But yeah, so it's hard to, I think that Hollywood will come around. It seems like even recently they decided to pull the trans stuff out of the most recent Disney stuff, and that's a good sign that they're not going to be pushing radical gender ideology on us anymore. I hope that they continue that trend, but if they don't, there's alternative Hollywoods springing up that are competing with those big studios. And so, you know, like Angel Studios, you know, Kingdom Story. My goodness, if you guys haven't seen Whitebird, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Made by Christians, incredible. And they're really doing it now. Like, we've always been like, well, that's okay. It's about 70% there. Nah, these are like 100% movies. These are really good. And I think Homestead fits into that category. I'm very excited about it. And especially as a television series, it's gonna rock, dude. It's gonna be really good. So, high drama, easy to watch with the whole family. That's the other thing. So, it is in contrast. You always have to worry about everything you watch with your family. I mean, you can pull up anything. It could be a kid's show, and you're like, what are my kids going to be indoctrinated into? Or it's just content, right? Like, so it's both of those things. You don't have to worry about that with Angel. That's why I'm excited.
So Jarret, I know you don't have your red with you today or your horns either, but I know you do play the devil in hilarious skits on the Babylon Bee.
Thanks.
Can you just talk to us about what's it like to play him in such a satirical light?
Yeah.
And what's that like for you?
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And people ask me like, oh, is there a spiritual component? Do you get attacked or whatever? And I'm like, no. Like, I don't. I think there's an old quote by Thomas More, like Sir Thomas More, that says, that proud spirit, the devil, cannot stand to be mocked. You know? And so when you start mocking him, I think he flees. I don't think he likes being around it. So anyway, but I love this. Like, I think playing the devil's so fun. Like, the concept of him sitting there, like, listening to, you know, Taylor Swift, you know, like trying to decide how best to approach his like employees. Like, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, they're just so mean. Like, I don't like, you know, like the devil and his insecurity. Right. I think all that stuff. And I play Woke Jesus too, and so, you know, it's the same guy. The devil and woke. Yeah, there I said it. Woke Jesus and the devil are the same person.
One and the same.
Yeah, that's right.
We're here at AmericaFest, Turning Point USA's AmericaFest. Just what's your message here for young people across the country?
Yeah, you know, I think keep pushing forward, you know, like stand up for freedom, speak up, you know, like be a freedom of speech advocate. You know, I mean, I'm obviously in comedy, but that's what we do, is like just speak our minds, you know, challenge bad ideas, constantly be engaged. Don't trust just because the government says something, don't trust that it's that they're being honest. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have to take everything hook, line, and sinker. Check your sources. Have an authority like the Bible to go back on, and make that your foundation, and not whatever's going on in the culture or whatever's going on in politics. You know, find your authority there and build your life on Jesus. That's what I would say to America. But then the other thing is, go see Homestead right now, because it's great. It's in the theaters. You guys are gonna love it, and go be part of this new thing, this new television series that's gonna sweep the nation, hopefully. So that's my hope.